On an ordinary tour with tourists, the tour guide Roland Warrior was busy providing information about local traditions to the participants. Sitting at the stern of his boat, he cranked the engine and slowly let the small wooden boat glide through the sea near Kaktovik, Alaska, toward the Beaufort Sea. As he turned to check the engine, which was making a sputtering noise, he was suddenly surprised by a large white object floating less than 50 meters from the boat. Roland squinted to get a better look. As an Inupiaq guide, he was intimately acquainted with the local wildlife. And he immediately recognized that it was a polar bear. However, what the bear was doing there confused him. It didn't seem to be moving particularly fast, if at all, and they were a long way from land. Roland decided to reduce the speed of the boat and continue slowly. He apologized to the tourists but explained that polar bears are protected in this area. It would also give lucky visitors a rare opportunity to see a polar bear up close. Still, two of the tourists refused. Knowing how dangerous these bears could be, they preferred to be taken straight to their destination. They couldn't be convinced. Even when Roland told them how often he encountered polar bears, they didn't agree. So Roland reluctantly agreed. As a tour guide, it was his duty to respect the wishes of the tourists. As he restarted the engine, he hoped that if he was in trouble, the bear would still be around when he returned. But his fears were unfounded. Soon he realized that the bear was following him. The majestic white predator seemed drawn to Roland's boat. By the time he dropped the tourists off on a nearby island, the bear had already halved the distance between them. While carefully maneuvering around the animal, he radioed a nearby observation post for help. Because he knew that it would not be a one-man job should problems arise. Luckily, a research team was nearby. But they had to hurry. The bear seemed to have trouble swimming. And as he approached, the shocking reality hit him. The bear got caught in a fishing net. Despite his efforts to free himself, he had become increasingly entangled and drained his precious energy. Little did the tour guide know at this point that the poor animal had been stuck in the water for half a day. The sight of the desperate animal made Roland cry. Like the rest of his community, he was deeply involved in protecting local wildlife. They saw the environment around them rapidly changing, and the animals were the first to feel the effects. Roland felt in his heart that he had to help this bear. But even though he was restrained by the binding web, Roland reminded himself that it was still a wild animal, ready to attack at any moment. He knew caution was needed. He grabbed a strong rope from the boat and formed a noose big enough for the bear. This sling could help the bear stay afloat while they waited for help. Roland deftly lassoed the rope and threw it into the water, managing to hit the target on the first try. But once he had secured the bear's body, he realized that a much greater challenge lay ahead. Even with the buoyancy of the water, the bear's weight was enormous. The animal weighed about 400 kilograms, about the same as a piano. After just a few minutes, Roland had trouble. The bear didn't help him at all, for he struggled and struggled to free himself from the ropes. Roland felt his forearm and biceps burn with pain. His only hope was that the research team would arrive soon to assist him. To his surprise, however, it was his fellow Inupiaq fishermen who arrived first and had already noticed him from afar. The three of them took turns holding the rope to keep the bear afloat and trying to slowly pull it to shore. But the bear stubbornly fought back. Even for the group of experienced fishermen, controlling this massive beast was an almost impossible task. With every advance they made, the bear seemed to undo it in a matter of seconds. He spattered his body wildly, pulling fishermen's boats at will. He was just too strong. Fortunately, the research team arrived before it was too late. The fishermen were surprised when the team immediately drew their guns. Without saying a word, they shot the bear with a powerful tranquilizer. They explained that it would take a while to take effect, but it would make the task easier over time. In fact, the bear's movements began to slow down. His muscles gradually relaxed and it became increasingly easy to pull him onto the bank. Roland was still upset, but he wiped away his tears on the sleeve of his shirt. Because he knew there was work to be done, and he was ready to do it. Together with the scientists, the villagers managed to gently bring the polar bear to safe shore and, with a great coordinated effort, pulled him onto his back. The team got to work. However, removing the net proved to be a difficult task as it was caught in all of the bear's limbs and he vehemently struggled. With gloved hands, they carefully examined the bear's body from all sides. They checked for injuries before checking the animal's heartbeat, pupils, and claws. Finally, they carefully attached a small piece of plastic to the bear's shoulder and explained that they would now be able to track and monitor the animal for quick location in an emergency. The group then slowly moved inland to give the polar bear a chance to recover. Soon he was rolling on the ground and getting to his feet, shaking his fur like he was shaking off a nasty dream. Then he got into the water and swam away. The group erupted in cheers, relieved and happy at the successful rescue operation. If this story touched you as much as it did us, you should watch this video. A man rescues a tiger. You will not believe the tiger's reaction.